Hi, my name is Toni Francis. I'm an online tutor of maths and English and also work as a maths teacher for the online school Red Balloon. I teach and tutor maths from Key Stage 2 to GCSE, including the further maths GCSE. I tutor English from Key Stage 1 to Key Stage 3 because I prefer to focus on reading and writing rather than the English GCSE curriculum. I use Teams and shared PowerPoint slides, which I and the students can edit live. This means that I can track their work throughout the session, mark work as it's completed, and catch mistakes and misconceptions as they happen. My maths students fall into two categories. One, those who've fallen behind and need help to catch up, and two, those who are working above expected and are looking to excel. For those falling behind, I'm able in lesson to provide and find within seconds materials to help with any topic they're struggling with at school. So I don't need to know what they're studying. If they come to me with a question, I have the materials ready and available, able to go in the lesson if that's what they need. With those working above expected, I tend not to work on things they're doing in school unless they specifically ask for it. And I tend to perhaps work on things that they won't have covered yet to make sure that they're learning something new in every session. In both cases, I meet the learner where they are in order to ensure I'm not teaching something they already know, but also to ensure I'm not missing out something they need and don't know yet. This is an example of a lesson on Pythagoras' theorem. At the start of the lesson, I make the aims and objectives very clear. So by the end of this lesson, the learner would be able to use Pythagoras' theorem to find the length of the third side of a right-angled triangle when two of the side lengths are known. Before we start, I ask the learner to rate themselves on the skills that are going to be required to use Pythagoras' theorem. Every task is split down into the required skills, the prior knowledge. They rate themselves. If they give anything red, we do some work on that. Amber, we do a little bit of work on it. Green, they already know it. So we move on to the actual using the Pythagoras. This is showing how you would recognize right angled triangles. All my teaching always involves possible misconceptions. And as you can see on this slide here, the dark blue triangle looks like a right angle. But it isn't because it does not have the little right angle symbol in there. I try and include lots of misconceptions in everything we're doing to make sure all those are covered rather than waiting for them to happen. So every lesson will involve a simple explanation of what we are studying. So with Pythagoras' theorem, Pythagoras said that if you draw squares on each side of a triangle, the area of the squares on the two short sides added together will be the same as the area on the long side. And I would introduce that in that very simple manner, in very simple language, showing that that's how Pythagoras works. Then we'd go through how you would use Pythagoras, working towards an algebraic expression of Pythagoras, but specific and then becoming more general. One of the major misconceptions with Pythagoras is that you always add squares of two sides to get the missing side. Well, that's not true. We need to find if we are trying to find out the longest side. So I always ask yourself, is the side that's missing the longest side? Is the side that's missing the hypotenuse? If it is, then the square on the missing side will be found by adding squares of the two other sides. So if the longest side is missing, add. So I've made that really simple. Longest side missing, add. And there it is. And then, is the longest side missing? No. The longest side isn't missing, subtract. So then we square the two numbers we do have and subtract them, and that will give us the missing side. As we go on, we will move towards a squared equals b squared plus c squared and labeling triangles. After we've done that, I will then share the link for the slides the learners are going to work on, and they carry on working on their own. If I've just got one learner, I will just stay on the slides with them. If I've got more than one learner, they each have their own set of slides, and I will go between them, just keeping an eye on how they're doing, dropping in and helping as they get stuck, marking as they go so they can see straight away if they've made a mistake. These are just examples of slides, and obviously these are editable by the learners. They're shared with the learner, they have their own copy, no one else can edit it. And that's basically what I do. Obviously, I'm an experienced maths teacher. I'm very good at spotting misconceptions. I'm very good at breaking tasks down into the needed skills. I'm very good at teaching those skills. And I've got a massive library of resources with which to do that. So I've got 5 years solid experience of tutoring online for Red Balloon and Kit McGrath, an extensive library of resources specially designed for working online, an extensive experience of producing those resources, and I do sell them on TES as well. I've got 5 years experience of working with neurodiverse and anxious learners, as well as working in mainstream schools. And I have worked as a primary year 6 teacher, as well as working in FE, teaching maths and PE. I'm a BSc Honours Maths and Maths Education with PGCSE and QTS. I've also got A-level English and an MA in Creative Writing. I'm not keen to teach GCSE English. I've got an SRA reading lab which I use for teaching English reading and writing.